Since our lowercase letters come in a couple different sizes, we're going to look at right now the tall lowercase letters. So these letters are going to be the same height as capital letters. They're going to come just the same height all the way up to the top of the writing space. When we're given only one line, it's usually called the baseline, and so these letters would fit just like this, touching the baseline, but not going below the baseline. If we were given a writing space that was defined by maybe two small blue lines or two blue lines that run pretty close, that can be for our small letter space. So it's trying to show us where the small letters would fit. If we were doing letters like lowercase c or a or o, they would fit in that small blue space. But since we're doing tall letters, our tall letters are going to come up twice as tall, and that small letter space can be helpful for guiding parts of our tall lowercase letters. This last kind of writing space that I'm kind of showing how the tall letters fit is when we have a baseline here at the bottom, a dotted line for the small letter space, and then a solid line again at the top for the top of the writing space. And so then for like in this space, we would make our letters fit like this. So they touch the baseline, they touch the top of the line when they're tall like these ones. And it can get confusing when there's sometimes two lines for the top and the bottom of our writing space, no small letter space line defined. And so sometimes people confuse this kind of writing space line with the two close lines for the small letter space. But right now, what we're going to be using is we're going to use a red baseline, and then we're going to use a blue small letter space line. So this is going to show where our small letters would fit if we were also writing small letters. Since we're not writing small letters, it's going to guide parts of these tall lowercase letters. Now, if I were to write lowercase b in this writing space, I would want to make sure that my curved part fills the small letter space, because if my B is looking like this, it's not the neatest and easiest to read. So let's try that one again. So we did big line down, bump the baseline, and now I'm gonna bounce and retrace, elevator right up, curve, and bump at the bottom. There is B, tall lowercase b. Let's practice D. Since we want the curved part to fit in the small letter space, we'll start there with our magic C curve, touch the baseline, and now since it's a tall letter, we need to go way up high and back down, D. For F, this can be a little tricky because we're not starting all the way at the top. I'm gonna start just a little below, curve up, and then go big line down. F. Notice I cross my line just above the small letter space. That small letter space can actually be helpful for guiding that I can cross right at that space. A little above can be helpful or okay, but we don't want it crossing way up high or way down low, because our eyes are pretty well trained to be looking right along that middle space. H is going to start from the top with a big line down, retrace rainbow curve, H. Notice that the curved part fills the small letter space. I don't have my H curve with it down here. I don't have my H curve with it really big coming up high. This just looks like an oversized lowercase n. This one at first glance, I might just see the big vertical line and think it's a lowercase L. Remember, what you have to say is really important. So it's important for your readers to be able to read your letters really fast. All right. We have gone through the first couple through H. I think we're ready to move on from H. Next, we are going to look at K. I'm going to make myself a little room over here. All right. And for K, it's going to be the same height as all of our tall lowercase letters. The tricky part is the kickstand part, these sliding lines. So after big line down, the sliding lines start away from the vertical line, because inside of the small letter space, they're going to come and touch the vertical line and then slide away again. It's very similar to capital K, The capital K has the big line, and then the sliding lines are just taller. So for lowercase k, it's still tall, vertical line is the same, but those sliding lines need to fit in the small letter space so that we know it is a lowercase k. Now lowercase l, that one's just gonna be a vertical line, big line down. So nothing to note in the middle for the small letter space. Just make sure that your L is all the way at the top of the writing space and that it touches the baseline without going below. T is like L with that vertical line, except it crosses in the middle. So right about that small letter space line, that's where we want to be crossing with T. All right, now we've gone through each of our tall lowercase letters. Keep practicing, keep working on your handwriting and making sure that it is your best. Remember, what you say is important. All right, take care.